What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the channel. We're going to get into your news headlines, so let's listen to it, react to it. Let's get right into it.
Now, a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Congressman Ronnie Jackson, joins me now. Congressman, great to have you back. Does the U.S. need the Panama Canal and Greenland for national security?
Absolutely, Stu. We have to have those for national security purposes. It's a big deal for us, right? And, look, President Trump is the master of going out and negotiating, finding things, possible consequences, some that the people he's negotiating with don't really care for too much, and then driving them to the negotiating table. And that's what he's doing here. It's absolutely reasonable to think that, that we should be treated fairly with regards to the Panama Canal. You have China coming in. They're infiltrating themselves all over Central and South America. They're doing the same thing there that they do all over the rest of the world, where they come in and they provide lots of money for resources, for infrastructure in the forms of loans, and then they call for these loans. The countries can't pay these loans back. They expect preferential treatment, and that's what they're doing here. And they're treating the Chinese preferentially here, and they're penalizing the United States. And we built the canal, and we should, if anybody should have preferential treatment, it should be the United States. But I think
there you go.
It's going to be treated fairly here. But it is a big national security issue for us with the Chinese influence that's come into this part of the world. And Greenland is also vitally important for our national security. And if Denmark can't provide the money, the resources, the military to utilize Greenland in the way that it needs to be utilized, not only to protect the United States, but to protect all of Europe and all of NATO and most of the free world, then they need to step aside and allow us to do it, especially if the people in Greenland want us there and they want independence from Denmark right now. And maybe, Denmark gives them $500 million a year in aid. Maybe we roll in and offer them $1 billion a year in aid, and we
Dang it, boy.
Kind of security cooperation agreement with them, and that would be fine too.
It still comes as a shock when the President of the United States talks about taking over Greenland and the canal. Anyway, let's move on. Take a look at it. This is a tweet from President Biden. He says, I'm quoting, "Thanks to his action on the border, illegal crossings dropped 60%. It was Republicans that played politics while Democrats fought to fix it." Okay, however...
Do what? Has Biden fallen and bumped his head? They fought to fix the border, but yet they're selling all the border materials off. This is Democrats at their lines best. It's like I said before, the way they do things is they lie, and when you show them the proof and everything, they just lie, and keep lying. Keep telling lies until somebody believes them, I guess.
Agents in Arizona recently seized a rocket launcher along with 2 rocket-propelled grenades. Got hold of them at the border. Clearly the border is not secure, Congressman, is it? It hasn't been for years.
It hasn't been for years, and the reason the numbers dropped is because they stopped counting people and because they started flying people in on the U.S. taxpayer dollars into the United States and not counting those as illegal border crossings.
Liars.
They manipulated the numbers like they do everything else. It's worse than it's ever been. Everybody knows that. The American people see that. That's why he got voted out. That's why, that's why he wasn't the nominee, and that's why the Democrats got voted out of the White House. But yes, it's an unbelievably dangerous environment down there, Stu. We have countless numbers of jihadi terrorists that have crossed our borders. They're setting up cells here in the United States. We're in for something big here coming up in the near future. I can tell you that for sure, based on some of the stuff that I see here in Congress. He has allowed this to completely get away from the United States. There will be consequences for his actions. Unfortunately, they're going to be after he's long gone.
Got it. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us this morning. Don't be a stranger. We'll see you again here soon. Thank you.
My goodness, guys, that doesn't show you how delusional that the Biden and the Biden administration is, thinking that they had less crossings on the border than Trump. That is, whoa, mind-blowing.
Trump has filed an emergency motion with the Supreme Court to stop the sentencing in his New York criminal case, which is set for Friday at 9:30 in the morning. Eric Shawn has been following all of this. Tell me, Eric, what happens now?
Well, right now, Stuart, it's up to the Supreme Court. President-elect Trump's lawyers are filing an emergency motion to the High Court to stop his sentencing on Friday. The bid will first go to Justice Sonia Sotomayor because she handles the jurisdiction of New York. She can then refer it to the full court to decide if Trump's lawyers are correct They argue that Trump's sentencing on his 34 felony counts for paying off Stormy Daniels should not go forward day after tomorrow because the High Court has already given presidents wide immunity for official acts. They claim, quote, the New York trial court lacks authority to impose sentence and judgment on President Trump or conduct any further criminal proceedings against him. And Trump spokesman Stephen Chung says, quote, the Supreme Court's historic decision on immunity, the Constitution, and established legal precedent mandate that this meritless hoax be immediately dismissed. But
that is what I'm talking about, the hoax of it, the fact of it, that it'd be one thing if the things that they had come after him was real and like he was a real criminal and we were just going to let a real criminal go. But, and of course, Trump haters and all that are going to say he's a criminal. He's a criminal. But they don't think Biden's a criminal. That's, man, I just, blows my mind. You know, I guess everybody thinks different. But how in the world? I can't comprehend how they think that Biden's a great president and that Trump's frickin' devil.
District Attorney Alvin Bragg counters that Trump's actions were before he was president and were not part of his official duties. The sentencing was allowed to proceed by the New York State Appellate Court. One judge ruling that Trump's arguments over presidential immunity lacked any merit. Associate Justice Ellen Gessmer, who gave the sentencing the green light, questioned Trump's lawyer Todd Blanche's argument about presidential immunity, asking him, quote, do you have any support for a notion that presidential immunity extends to presidents-elect? Blanche responded, there has never been a case like this before, so no. Sotomayor gave prosecutors until 10 a.m. this morning, about 20 minutes from now, to answer their response. Judge Merchan has indicated, though, that he will impose what's called a conditional discharge on the president-elect on Friday if this goes forward. That means Mr. Trump will face no sanctions, such as a fine and no jail time.
We should have known that.
Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich joins me now.
Which is great.
Newt, are Trump's legal troubles just about over? I asked the question because Senator Schiff from California says, you know, I know you're laughing, he's going to continue to investigate Trump in his second term.
They are not going to stop. His woes are not over. We'll fight the whole 4 years, I guarantee it. I hope not. I pray not. But I just can tell you now, they'll never let it go.
Well, of course he is. Look, President Trump has been through 9 years of everybody on the left trying to destroy him because he is the greatest threat to their world that we've seen in my lifetime.
That's true.
And so they're going to do everything they can every day. It's why I keep trying to tell Republicans that thinking about victory in 26 is vital, because if we lose the House in 26, we're going to be right back in a Nancy Pelosi warfare environment.
We can't afford that.
So the Democrats will try to use investigations, impeachment, whatever they can. The thing that's going on here, I think, is so important. Donald Trump is a serious person. He actually intends to break up the swamp, to take apart the establishment, to fundamentally reset American government back on constitutional principles. Well, if you're a left-wing advocate, this is a nightmare. This is life and death for them. This is Armageddon.
Yep.
So they will do anything they can, no matter how stupid or how outrageous. They'll do anything to stop him because he's a mortal threat to their world.
What did I just say? They will not stop. They will do anything.
Historian and a former speaker,
yeah.
It's absolutely fascinating.
Do you think that the GOP in the House has sufficient discipline and unity to get through what Trump wants to get through?
Well, I just wrote a newsletter at Gingrich 360 arguing that there should be one bill, that Trump's right, one big, beautiful bill. It should include the border, but more importantly, it should include tax cuts, regulatory reform, be aimed at improving affordability for Americans. I believe he can get one bill through if he spends 2.5 months barnstorming the country. There are at least 12 seats Democrats held in the House that he carried the district. He should be in every one of those districts having a rally in favor of jobs, economic growth, take-home pay, affordability, and I think he will be able to get one big bill through. I worry very much if we split them up, because historically the record in the Senate is that it's so slow. Remember, in 2017, the bill didn't pass till December. We lost 40 seats. When Reagan passed the tax cut in 81, it didn't go into effect till 83. We lost 26 seats in 82. If we're going to keep the House, we need one big bill this spring, either Memorial Day, as Speaker Johnson said. I'd accept July 4th, but no later than that. And that will give us enough economic growth that I think Trump will be in tremendous shape. But it's going to be a fight. I mean, we should understand, we did not win a realigning election. We won a de-aligning election. The country right now is waiting to see. If Trump succeeds, he's going to build a coalition like Franklin Roosevelt.
Yeah.
But to succeed, he has to get economic growth.
And it's
That's
got to
true.
go out and barnstorm for that one big, beautiful bill. Newt
Let's
Gingrich,
get that big,
always a
beautiful
pleasure.
bill.
Thanks for joining us, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Top. Liz Peek with me this morning. We have something of a disagreement going on here. I thought that Bret Stephens' column today was terrific, but and so do you, surely.
Well, it's good as far as it goes, Stuart, but there's so many deceptions and so many delusions that have basically clouded this presidency. What about the biggest threat to our homeland being white supremacy? We could start with that one in the wake of the last couple of weeks. Look, Bret Stephens is trying to scrabble ahead of his never-Trumper stance, like so many Democrats, so many never-Trump Republicans, and get on the right side of 2025. And it's very difficult for him. The last column I read by Bret Stephens was why he was going to vote for Kamala Harris. So let's move on.
Boo.
I think we really should. You're putting me in my place here. You've got a new op-ed. I'm reading it. Biden keeps insulting Americans with last-minute moves. Republicans can stop it. Really? How could the GOP stop these last-minute moves designed to, I think, sabotage Trump?
Yeah, they are. He is throwing a spanner
Sabotage
in the works,
America.
as you might say, for the incoming Trump administration. And it's really deplorable because voters voted for energy investment in our country, fossil fuel investment, getting back to energy independence and using our tremendous resources of oil and gas. To put 165 million acres off limits to drilling is just really a slap in the face to voters, the majority of Americans who want to see us do this. And by the way, for all these new industries, we need mammoth amounts of energy and electricity generation, which will only come from all this offshore development and so forth. There's been so many things that he's done, including the 42,000 Social Security Administration workers protected, now can come in, never have to come in, et cetera. So the GOP needs to shut this down.
Yeah, they don't have to come to work. That's Biden for you. They don't have to come to work. You know, Biden is if Biden is trying his man. I know. I'm trying to. Let's not stress all this too much because we know that Trump will do everything in his power to fix this. But man, it's just so depressing. So depressing that right here we're so close, and this traitor Joe is trying to do everything he can, and then you got people defending him. I cannot believe, you guys, if you are a Democrat and you're defending Joe Biden, I just don't get it. I don't hate you. I just don't understand. Evidently, you don't understand me. You don't understand the right. But I don't understand how you can't understand doing things that is good for America. Drilling, lowering prices, lowering cost. How is that a bad thing?
Because every single day there's a new offense. Yesterday it was gas-fired water heaters.
But how do you shut it down?
Well, what they can do is threaten Biden with congressional hearings, having him come in after he leaves office and testify about these proposals, about taking offshore acreage off of drilling, et cetera. Make him prove that he's the president, that he's the fellow who's doing this, not his aides. We elected Joe Biden. We didn't elect Jill. We didn't elect Jeff Zients, his chief of staff.
They could
Obama.
In 2022, Congress subpoenaed Donald Trump to come talk about the J6 upheavals. Yes, they can do that. Donald Trump never did testify, but I think even the threat of it, imagine Joe Biden having to defend himself and these policies in front of a skeptical Congress, Stuart. It isn't going to happen because he cannot. He's not capable of doing it.
True. Liz Peek, you're fired up, I can tell.
Well, I think it's offensive, and he needs to be reined in.
All right, guys, that's your news headlines for today, and I just don't understand. I know that, you know, people on the left are gonna, you know, say the same thing about us. We're crazy and the devil and Satan, and they don't understand us. We don't understand them. It's hard to, I guess, meet in the middle. That's what the hard part is here. Is you know, I would like to think that we could be close enough that there would, you know, you can meet in the middle. You can come to some agreements, but it just seems like everything is so far off. It just doesn't make any sense. But as always, guys, it doesn't matter. We're all gonna get through it. You know, just try to be kind to each other. There's no need to hate one or the other for the way they feel or believe. I guess we all have our different reasons for that. We just have to do and hope that the things that we're doing are the best, and that's all we can do. That's going to be it for this video. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And guys, we will see you on the next one.